Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic slash Non-Classic. This is episode number 1021 and Doubleshot number, I believe this is like 915, right? Yep, 915. Two more Batman trades that take the comic this time. Yep, first up, it's Volume 8. On the Outside. This, of course, written by Brian Hill. Yep, first trade without James Tynion. Because ever since the renumbering happened a few years ago, generally the writer had been James Tynion IV. But he left after issue 981, after 2 years in this title. Yep. The artwork in here is done by at least about 4 different artists. Well, this is done by, Brian Hill does pretty much most of the issues in here, except for the last issue. He doesn't do the last one. He only does the first, 5, and the last one was done by Michael Barassi. The artwork is done by Miguel Madoncia, Felipe Bonas, Diana Egia, and Sebastian Fuma. The cover art here is done by Eduardo Panicia, Julio Ferrer, that's gonna itch my nose, and Andrea Lucius, who's also the colorist on here. Now, the thing with On the Outside story, what this story is, it simply put a backdoor pilot to a new Batman and the Outsiders ongoing series. Basically, Batman is recruiting Jefferson Pierce, aka Black Lightning, which this is the first time he's actually shown up since, off the top of my head, I think the last time he showed up in a comic book that's published by DC was probably during Jeff Johns' Justice League run. Yeah, that was the last time I could think of he actually showed up, because he has not been seen since then at all. And there's not much to this character at all, basically, and the way he looks, actually, no, it was not actually, that was not actually the appearance. It was Black Lightning Cold Dead Hands. Yeah, it was a sort of a rebooted a miniseries done by one of his co-creators, Tony Isabella, which introduced this very costume, which is basically the costume he wears on the Black Lightning TV show. That technically was his last appearance prior to this storyline. Batman recruits him to basically become a leader of a group of heroes. The Outsiders, mind you. They don't call them that, but pretty much that's what they do. Yeah, he has him form it with Duke Thomas, Cassandra Cain, and possibly Batgirl. Yes. Though Batgirl, aka Barbara Gordon, has never been part of the Outsiders. Cassandra Cain has, in brief Flashpoint when Chuck Dixon wrote the book. Yep, she was part of that run. Yeah, during the run, there was one issue, I remember one issue, she actually walked around to the headquarters butt naked, and, of course they asked two questions, are you out of towels? Nope. Are you having underwear? Nope. Yeah, because they all are scars. Here, basically, and also hair's a little bit longer than it was. Now, basically, last time she appeared was actually toward the end of Tynion's run. Yes, and she's still referred to as Orphan in here. Now, oddly enough, Stephanie Brown is actually not in this storyline. Neither is Tim Drake. Yeah, Tim Drake, he basically retired. Him and Stephanie Brown, then they showed up in Brian Michael Bendis' Young Justice book. Yep. But as for Batwoman, she is nowhere to be seen. It's odd, though, because they ended her book last year, even though she's going to appear on TV soon with a new series. And basically, they're finding this guy called... What's this guy's name? Alright, I don't remember the guy's name this guy here on the cover. Yep. Basically, he forms to take on these guys because, well, he was taking out his former allies. That's basically what he was doing. And, simply put, basically, the Outsiders meant to replace him for the Dark Knights. Yeah, that's the kind of the name for the team, even though the team never had an official name. It was just basically the Batman supporting characters, basically the vigilantes of Gotham working together. It was a great idea for Tynion's run, and then as soon as he left, the group disbanded. Yep. But this is good. The last issue in here is just a standalone issue where Batman fights the Scarecrow. Yep, that's simply put what this storyline is. Yeah, that's what this standalone issue is basically I think he fights the Scarecrow if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's the Scarecrow, some other priest. Yeah, it's an okay issue, but I think on the outside it's pretty good. Brian Hill's known for working for Image Comics. Yeah, that's what he did prior to this, basically a lot of Image stuff. This is probably by far his first DC book he did. And of course was a Batman Outside's ongoing series. That was actually supposed to start a year ago back in December, but the issues were delayed until May. No idea why. This book a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's really kind of dumb the fact that the Batman the Outsiders was delayed by 5 months. I have no idea why in the world that is. The book itself is unpublished. It's only published about, I think about 8 issues by now. Yep. Next up, it is Volume 9, Deface. Written by James Robinson. Yep, making his return to this comic book first time since 2006. Yep. Yeah, he wrote the 1 year later story for Batman, Face to Face. I guess the name itself is a nod to Face to Face storyline from 2006. Yep, James Robinson. This is his first time writing Batman comics since like 2006. The artwork in here is done by Steven Savoy, who also has the cover on here with Carmine Di Camanico, I think it's pronounced the person's name. Ivan Perlucia, who's also the other cover artist in here. He's the colorist on here. Yeah, what's the storyline? Well, Batman teams up with Two-Face to take on Cobra in this really good epic story. It's a self-contained story. And of course, Jim Gordon shows up in here as well. Also with Duke Thomas. Yeah, Duke Thomas was actually part of the previous arc. He was taken out pretty early on. Here he's basically back to normal. Though they do reference some stuff that happened in the pages of, well, was supposed to be a new series for The Signal, with Duke Thomas is The Signal. Yeah. And it's interesting though, now this is by far the first major Two-Face story since the first arc for All-Star Batman. I believe this is also the first time Two-Face showed up since that story arc. Yeah, that was back in 2016. This came out in 2018. So this is Two-Face's first appearance in 2 years. Though Scott Snyder himself, if I get a chance, I'm going to ask, like, why did you retcon the death of Two-Face when he apparently committed suicide back in Batman and Robin Volume 2, number 28? Yeah. Though he still has the design he had from that particular run, though this is done by a different artist. But it's a fun little storyline, and I do recommend being fans of Two-Face. Plus, it's a pretty thick trade. It's only like just 6 issues. Next trade, PJ Tomasi. Yep, he takes over with the very next storyline. Yeah, and he's still the writer of the book right now for Detective Comics. Yeah, he's writing the book now for a little over a year. It's something though. This is actually one of the 2 books basically James Robinson did as soon as he came back to DC. The other book was Wonder Woman. Though his Wonder Woman was actually a little bit longer than this was. This one was like just this one story arc, and that was it. That's all he basically did for the book. Wonder Woman, he had a pretty lengthy run the book. A run that lasted for 20 issues and had an annual. Yes. But as far as I can tell, I don't think he's working on anything else right now. No. I mean, he just ended his run for Wonder Woman last year. So, I'm not really sure exactly what the heck he's working on now. Because I haven't seen anything out of him lately. Not really. Let me take a look here. Let's see if he's done anything else since this run and Batman ended. Let's see. This will help me. Bless you! Let's see. I'm trying to look up what is his most recent book he did for it seems as though he's done nothing. Yep. Actually, Scratchy, he actually did this right after he finished up his run for Wonder Woman. Yes. I mean, I just looked up. Apparently, this is the last book he's done. Yep. But I kind of wish he did a little bit more because the guy is one damn good writer. I mean, if they wanted to revive the JSA, and of course there's been rumors for that for a while, why not have him write it? Because he's one damn good writer, and unlike Jeff Johns, he actually keeps a book on coming out on time. Yep. I mean, I wouldn't mind. After all, he was the writer who technically revived the JSA back in 1989, so why not do it nowadays? But who knows? Yep, who knows? Yep, so that's it for this particular review. I have nothing else to say about these two trades. Both really good. The other two trades that on the outside is a pretty decent storyline, but it's not much to write home about. But this feels like a classic Batman story right here. And of course is written by, well, James Robertson. Yeah, and he also wrote the last major story involving Two-Face in Deface. In sorry, Face to Face. Though basically he turned the F backwards. The storyline here is a nod to that, but the thing is, there's no involvement of Damian Wayne, and there's no like the whole thing of killing off B-list villains in here. It's just basically Batman, Two-Face, and Jim Gordon versus Cobra. No, not Cobra from G.I. Joe. This is the DC Cobra with a K, not with a C. Which is, of course, a really good storyline. But it's weird, though, that this is the most recent book he's done. That he hasn't done anything else since this book, and since he ended his run of this book. Yeah, I don't really know why. It's bizarre. I mean, like I said, he's a really good writer. I don't know why DC hasn't done anything else. I'm just Wonder Woman and this. That's it. Yeah, nothing that solicits I've seen basically with him as the writer, but who knows? Okay? So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Those of you curious so far, we're going to review a newest episode of Case Closed. I thought it was going to come out today. Nope. It did not come out today. It's coming out next week. So probably I'll get time to do a review of the newest, of the 14th of the Case Closed. If not, I may do like another comic corner today, okay? But till you see your next view. Bye.